Cody from Maine is our last piece of feedback. Well-structured Dynamite, given that they had a lot to do with recapping the pay-per-view, continuing story beats, and establishing the tournament. My biggest takeaway from night one of the tournament is the same takeaway that most people had from year one in the tournament. The promise of no interference. You will get a clean winner in 95% of the matches. Casts a somewhat negative light on AEW's usual booking. It was mentioned during your pay-per-view review, but we continue to see AEW referees look WCW levels of incompetent far too often because of the amount of interference. Looking at you, Rick Knox. And we've seen a lot more examples of them booking matches that they have to book themselves out of with a no contest or interference. Going with this rule set full time, I think would force them to be a bit more creative. For example, if Max Caster wrestles on Collision, it's okay that he loses clean because he's still feeling the effects of Swerve's beatdown. It would make stuff more impactful. I digress. Thank you for the review as always. Well, thank you, Cody.
It's an interesting idea in concept. It just hasn't been executed. Like, when was the last time we had a promotion with completely clean booking?
All Japan, 1990.
And it's just a different system, you know?
It's fine. Like, it's not inherently a negative to have your occasional run-in or something that has a purpose to it that is furthering something. Mm-hmm. I think where fans kind of groan is when it's just an out, that it is not served for any function other than to not give you no winner, no loser. There's no harm, no foul it's just to get us out of a match. And that's the best we can do. And it just feels lazy.
Yeah.
And when it's a crutch, it becomes more of a problem because of the repetitive nature of it.
I guess I just sympathize with the people that have to produce all of these hours of television while also building to big matches on pay-per-views, and also the need to promote big matches for all of the TV shows that you're trying to make as well. It's just a different system of pro wrestling that they have to produce versus maybe what ideally, we wanted for a clean booking promotion.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say of where something could, if you really just decided, hey, we're just going to go in this route and we're going to, across the board, and we're going to teach our audience that we promote a big main event, you get a winner, you get a loser. And that was the case for a lot of the time with Dynamite. And I still think for the most part, I think you do have a confidence you are going to get that, but they've certainly gotten away from that. But one of the appeals for me of just for instance, because we're talking about it, was the Bloodsport show on Sunday. And it's I don't watch those matches and it's oh man, they really killed this guy or this. It's just, what you're getting. You're going to invest yourself in a match. You get your winner, you get your loser. You have stories coming out of it. Now, could you do that multiple times per week? Probably not. But I think there's certainly something to be said with a lack of confidence in being able to take a winner and take a loser and book them accordingly coming out of something. Your matches of substance, I would say. It doesn't have to be top to bottom every TV show. But I think you do want your big matches, you reward people with, a satisfying outcome unless there is an extenuating circumstance that pushes a story forward.
Should they do more time limit draws?
I think you could get away with them because typically whenever they do them, people get very excited when you get the 5-minute countdown, the 2-minute countdown, and those are generally exciting on TV, and you can play with the time limit. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, the problem is the time limit officially is what, half an hour per match or something like that? 20 minutes at least?
20 or 30.
Most matches are not going 20 minutes on an AEW Dynamite, so they would have to significantly lower the time limit, but I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, there's lots of ways you can be creative. I think you just want to be. Now is the time they do need to be taking risks because it's time after time. And maybe I'm more critical of this than most. I fully admit maybe I am. But to me, there is some disengagement with your crowds. And that to me is a consistent issue.
So what do you consider to be the risk?
Of just if the argument is let's just run with a pat hand, we're going to do all of this stuff, it's not working in a grand scheme of things. So I'm more open to different ideas of how we're going to present our product, how we're going to present these matches. Do we want to try more clean finishes? Now is the time to take more of these risks because I do not want to see AEW run with this pat hand we are currently seeing. This is not the best version of this promotion. And I don't think anyone's going to argue it is. And the numbers have reflected that. There is a change that needs to be instilled in this company that is loaded with talent. I do not look at that as the issue, but there's something in the presentation that is not clicking with your audience. And it's a small thing, but when you have like world-class wrestlers like Ricochet and Claudio, and this crowd is like, that was their engagement level tonight. I mean, I think it's a byproduct of something else. And I don't think I'm reading too much into that because it's a general malaise you get for a lot of these TV crowds. And then you peak them for the pay-per-views where these are blowaway shows that they do once per month.
I agree with all that. I just don't know if like changing the whether or not they have clean finishes will in any way.
I'm not saying that's the be all end all. It's more issues than that. And you do watch on TV now that I do feel they are trying different things. Like they are recognizing there are issues. I think any consumer can see that on the programming. What has an effect? Like we will see.
If you like this video, consider joining our Patreon, The Post Wrestling Cafe. Multiple bonus podcasts every week, ad-free shows, and access to our full archive. Otherwise, a like and subscribe is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.